So you may remember this person, Cassidy Hutchinson, the former assistant to Chief of Staff Mark Meadows in the Donald J. Ballpark administration. Well, wouldn't you know, she's in the news again! Because in an upcoming book that she wrote, she's accusing Rudy Giuliani of groping her on January 6th. As you can see this quote here, and of course this is featured on Now This Politics Instagram, which is definitely a non-biased, not piece of garbage rag that lies about everything, but whatever. You can see in this quote here, his frozen fingers trail up my thigh. And she's saying that this occurred backstage at the Ellipse during Donald Trump's speech. Now, before people get squirrely in the comments, neither you nor I know if this is true or not true. And we've seen multiple examples in the public eye literally right now and many times in the past where these types of accusations, founded or unfounded, have been used to smear people's character or in certain cases sell books, knowing that they may or may not be true or ever be proven. And coincidentally, this happened supposedly 2.5, almost 3 years ago, but it's just coming out now when there's a book to sell. And look, I'm not trying to defend Giuliani or anything here. I just want to point out some basic detail. She's alleging that this happened while Donald Trump was giving a speech. It was 37 degrees outside in DC on that day. 37 degrees. So Donnie spoke from noon to 1 p.m. and it's 37 degrees outside. The whole thing took place outside. There was no backstage like in a building. So backstage in 37 degrees while hundreds of thousands of people are standing there. In the middle of the day with all these people around, Rudy Giuliani draws his fingers up her leg and then up her skirt or whatever. And supposedly while this is happening, John Eastman flashes a leering grin. So he's just doing this in broad daylight in the middle of outside with all these people around and John Eastman's just like, yes. And then nothing becomes of this until 2-something years later when there's a book to sell. Maybe, but I don't know, dude. Probably not, I don't know. Look, we're not going to know the truth on this, and that's, I guess, the sweet spot when you write these things in these books. But, just use a little bit of logic and context clues. This didn't happen in a car late at night or at a hotel lobby or something after an event. This was noon outside in 37-degree weather with people around. And he's just like, la, 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 and the other guy's like, nah. Like, what? Does anyone believe that? I don't know. Maybe, but probably not. But maybe, but probably not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. And here's another quote from it. Fight against the tension in my muscles and recoil from Rudy's grip. Recoil. He's 77 years old at the time. I don't know. So since we have no way of knowing whether this is true or not true, all we really have is context clues. The primary one being that it's been 2-something years. As far as I can see, no formal complaint was ever filed or no legal complaint was ever filed. And as far as I can see, this has never been mentioned ever for the last 2+ years until there was a book to sell. But aside from that, I just want to bring another piece of information into play here so that we can see whether or not we believe that this is true. Most of the world, including myself, was introduced to Cassidy Hutchinson here, where she alleged that Donald J. Ballpark lunged at a Secret Service agent trying to grab the steering wheel and motion towards his collarbone like she was going to choke him because the Secret Service refused to take him to the Capitol after his speech on that day. She testified to Congress that this happened. Now, at the time, many people, including myself, were skeptical of this, and I even made a video of it back then. But just to quickly recap, the same person that's saying this now about Rudy Giuliani, it will be revealed in her book that you can buy. Here's what she said happened. She testified to Congress that this man, pictured here on the left, the head of Trump's security detail, Bobby Engel, who was a veteran, a Marine, I believe, and a 25-year veteran of the federal police force, and the head of his security detail. This man, who was Trump's shadow for years and was 25 years younger than him, and a well-oiled, highly trained, perhaps one of the highest trained protective machines in the world. Also shown right here, literally with him every single day. The number one person in charge of his security. That Donnie, who was sitting back here in the vehicle that he was supposedly driving, or perhaps in the passenger seat, that he came from back here, reached up to the front to grab the steering wheel and then threatened like he was going to choke that dude, 25 years younger, police training machine in control of his security detail, literally veteran animal. And Trump doesn't get his way, so he's gonna try to choke him or motion to his clavicle like he's gonna choke him or grab the steering wheel from the back seat. Does anybody actually believe that that would happen, could happen, did happen? Trump just went his entire life, 70 years, never getting into any altercation even remotely similar to this in any capacity at all. But then mysteriously on this day, that's what happened, and that's what this lady testified under oath actually happened, and now she's telling this story about Giuliani 2 years later, so you'll buy her book? Does anyone believe this person? I guess. So, with all of these facts in consideration, you go ahead and draw your own conclusion. Now, I'm not trying to belittle victims of these types of attacks, nor am I suggesting that Rudy Giuliani is innocent. Obviously, neither myself or you know or likely will ever know. But she hasn't mentioned it for 2 years. She's only mentioning in the book. There was no formal complaint ever filed, no legal complaint as far as I can see. You have the story about what happened supposedly in the Beast, which seems highly improbable. And then you have this happening at noon on a 37-degree day outside in broad daylight in front of other people, and it never came out till now. And then her new book, which is called Enough, drops literally next week for $30 and is 384 pages about specifically this day and this event, which is being published by Simon & Schuster. Simon & Schuster, which is the third largest book publisher in America, owned by Paramount, formerly Viacom, also known as Viacom CBS, and the same Simon & Schuster who canceled a book by Josh Hawley that was about big tech because he was loosely involved in this day, or his words about it, so they just cancel his book. That company is the publisher of this book that drops next week with this account. I don't know, dude. Draw your own conclusion, I guess. But it sounds like bullshit to me.